Thank you.
Welcome everyone, I'm Jade Bolden, and today we are going to have an online class on Tangerine, and we have a special guest, Debbie Gordon here, and she is our Blue Diamond in doTERRA, and she's visiting us and participating in our class tonight. Okay, welcome Leanne. Okay, so Tangerine. Let's ask for stories. Anybody have stories about Tangerine that you want to share? Any experiences with Tangerine? You haven't used Tangerine, Eleanor?
It's one of my favorite to diffuse and elevate the mood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful oil. How about you, Leanne? Have you used Tangerine? Oops, let me unmute you here. Go for it.
Not a whole lot, but I've been reading more and more about it lately, and kind of I love the smell of it, but I just didn't know what to use it for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes we think, oh, all citrus are the same, but it's different. So it's good to know the slight differences and then to change it up a little bit. Because you know what the essential oils do in our body, it goes through certain pathways, and if we have a certain concern, we want you know, the different oils to take different pathways in our body to do the same things, but you know, do it differently, and that's more effective. Okay, so Tangerine, just a summary of this: it boosts immunity, okay, cellular protection. It helps with sleep and relaxation, so just like the wild orange. Helps reduce the irritability, helps with digestion and gut. It boosts metabolism and helps with fat loss. It helps with easy breathing. And that was surprising to me. I keep forgetting that citrus oils are great for that. And it's emotionally the oil of cheer and creativity. Okay, so we're going to just talk about the body, the mind, and the spirit just with the Tangerine. So Tangerine has a long history in Chinese culture. It's used as a herbal health practices. They use it for digestion, and most people use it to, you know, use as a flavoring. Okay, and so it's really, it's like orange. It's an alternative to orange. But it can help with our immunity and respiratory system. There's been a lot of research that shows that Tangerine really helps soothe anxious feelings and to help us manage stress. Because in our society, there's not a lot of things, you know, you can't take a drug because you're stressed, right? There's not a lot of things that will help with this in a significant way, but these oils do an amazing job. And Tangerine, so consider Tangerine because it is very powerful. Does anybody use Tangerine to season food and flavor food?
Frostings, cake frosting, and yogurt dips.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And smoothies and yeah, and just water in your water, flavoring water. So yeah, we used it for that. The exciting thing about Tangerine, it is 80%, almost 80% D-limonene, and D-limonene is found to be cancer preventative in vitro in humans, and so there's a study on that. Okay, so this is really cool. It's sort of like a cousin to grapefruit. All right, it's something very simple. It's an itty-bitty little bottle, but it is very powerful. It makes a huge difference. Okay, so go ahead and try it, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so just because it's small and it's you know, we don't have a lot of fanfare or advertisement for these oils, it's still very powerful. So Tangerine can be mixed with other citrus oils. So I know a lot of people will ask me sometimes, you know, is it okay to blend these or mix these? Absolutely, right? Goes great with the citrus oils, great with lime, ylang ylang, basil, and cheer, which is the blend, okay, the blend cheer. So that's a way we can use the Tangerine. Now, The tangerine can be found in the doTERRA blends that's already, created for us, the proprietary blends. So Citrus Bliss, Elevation, and Zendocrine. Yep, it's in Zendocrine. Did we know that? Yeah, so it's very good for the gut, very good for cleansing. And there's lots of research where it says that tangerine helps with just elevating mood and help with feeling of anxiety. Okay, so the other thing about tangerine, like other citrus oils in doTERRA, you need to be careful of photosensitivity. So that means there's a chemical, we call it FCs, in the citrus oils that reacts to the UV light. And then it causes reddening or burning of the skin if you expose it to UV light. So if you're going to use it topically on your skin, make sure you stay out of direct sunlight for about 12 hours. You can always use it internally and aromatically very safely. Okay, but with the topically and having it, have a direct exposure to the sun, that's something you really need to be mindful about. But other than that, tangerine is awesome. Any questions or comments? Okay, let me unmute you. There you go. Go ahead.
I just tried it with ylang ylang. So nice. And I don't like ylang ylang by itself normally, but it is so nice and so uplifting. Very nice. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That is something we can remember. If there's an oil that you feel like you should use, but not quite ready for it, just blend it with something else. And if your body's saying, oh, yum, go ahead and use it until it loses that hold on you. Because that's very important. It's your body talking to you, telling you, hey, you might need this for a while. And it's good to kind of read about what tangerine is doing inside your body and also in your mind and helping you with a spiritual change. Okay, so we're moving on to the body. So food flavoring, easy peasy. 1 to 2 drops in water, in smoothies, in teas, in dressings, and desserts, and savory dishes. Okay, very easy to use. For all of the essential oils, I wouldn't cook it and boil it up and burn it. I just put it on as an after thing. Okay, so you can preserve the therapeutic benefits. Okay, I know a lot of people are concerned about taking the oils internally, but it's very, very safe. But you're not going to be silly and do the whole bottle at once. Your body has an ability to dilute it inside the body, and it's very beneficial. Okay, so that's the food and drink flavoring. The next thing is boosting immunity. So guys, there's things that I can't particularly say here, but you can read the research and see what it's done for people, and see what studies show. So the little numbers next to it, I've had people say, hey, what's that number? Why is that number there? So I'm just explaining to you that you can click on that number and it'll take you to a link where you can read up on some research. Okay, just don't take my word for everything, and you dive into it more and study more. It's just more knowledge is power. So it boosts immunity. So basically take it in water. So if you do it daily, you're helping your body cleanse. And if you want to, put it in a vegetable capsule. And there's no harm in blending it with other oils, depending on what you want. And that's why we have this beautiful Zendocrine blend. I mean, they have all of these wonderful oils for the organs. And that's something you can take internally. All right. Okay, sleep and relaxation. I know we have a lot of protocols and oils for sleep. If you're still struggling with sleep, and if you're okay with sleep, but you want to shake it up and change it up, it's a good idea to have a bottle of tangerine next to your bed and see if it works the same or maybe better than some of the oils. Or sometimes some nights you might want to just have something different. I experience great results with a lot of the oils. Sometimes I just feel like a different oil and that oil does the same job. Okay, so what do you guys think? Any comments, questions? So with the wild orange, you can put it in the diffuser or just put it on your big toes, the bottom of your feet, okay? But most importantly, just get it up your nose, you know, smelling the aroma, getting your brain to produce the calming chemicals. What do you think, Debbie?
You know, I really love tangerine. In fact, recently when they had the flash sale, with tangerine being one of the flash sales, my mother says, I don't have tangerine. What do I need it for? And it was really fun to share what she might use it for. Now she's actually decorated wedding cakes for probably 50 years. And she had a wedding cake coming up here soon. And I said, Mom, consider the tangerine in your frosting, because she has often used the citrus oils in her frosting for her cake decoration. But she was like, yeah, give me one of those. I need to try it. And that was really fun. And I recently scanned for tangerine. And after hearing you today, I'm interested to see what you have to say on digestion, because I'm pretty sure that my scan indicated that tangerine was for my body for digestion support. And so I'm interested for your next piece here after energy.
Yeah. So I scanned up for tangerine a while ago and I did not like it. That was funny. I liked all the other citrus oils and I'm like, what's different about it? It's not different. And I had to do some digging, and I think this is why tangerine is one of the last oils I do. But it's now available. It wasn't available for a long time. So great for energy. You know, for those people who just feel, you know, like you can take a nap at 2 o'clock and you're done for the day. You know, consider taking tangerine in water or just a vegetable capsule, just mix it up in other oils. So it just helps cleanse your gut. And we've got lots of invaders, and I say invaders, but what I mean is funguses and parasites and bad bacteria and all those things that just kind of make them, you know, a lot of trouble in your digestive system. Okay, and it stops your body from absorbing nutrients, and it hijacks your brain, really, okay? Because we have neurotransmitters in our gut, and when it's not happy, we're not thinking clearly. We have this fog. So this kind of cleans things out and helps your body have more energy. So we talk about the energy zone, which is your gut, your third chakra. It really helps with that, okay? Digestion and metabolism. Consider mixing with other citrus oils and peppermint to release toxins. So you just look at the ingredients in that Zentocrine blend, and you can see that it acts similar to some of these other oils, doing a great job cleansing and taking care of the cells in your body. Okay. The other thing is easy breathing. So just you can diffuse it and sniff it to help you open airways. But something that I did recently was mixing it with the respiratory blend, the Breathe, or the Easy Air for the Aussies. And it's amazing. It was so yummy. I've done lime with the Breathe, but I've never done tangerine. And that's amazing. So try that.
I'm going to try that tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Hello. Okay. Cleansing. So, of course, cleansing in lots of ways. You can do the cleansing of surfaces or cleansing of your gut. Okay. You can actually use it as a mouthwash. There's 3 researchers here. Excuse me. That you can click on, and they did a test, a research on tangerine as mouthwash. So that was interesting for actually more than mouthwash. It was for cleansing out the gum concerns. So it was effective. So you can use it just to keep your mouth clean. Okay. And of course your homemade surface cleaners. I like to change the scent of my surface cleaner. Even though I use On Guard concentrate, I add different oils to it, just tree oils or sometimes more citrus oils, and that's really nice, and it does really thoroughly clean your counters and your home. Okay, so that's something else you can do. we actually put like a drop or two in our dishwasher, and then when it goes through the heating cycle, it sort of diffuses in the air, so that's nice. So your occasional coughs and congestion, you can mix it up and put it with on your body with eucalyptus. Okay, that's really interesting. We have the citrus oils help break down mucus, and it helps open that airway. So that's very helpful there. Okay, and circulation helps with the water retention. A lot of times I tell people just to use lemon oil, but tangerine is very effective too. Okay, and gas. You know, tangerine and wild orange are the gas queens. So if we have gas issues in your gut, just take a couple of drops in water, and it kind of helps alleviate that. Or you can rub it on your tummy. All right. So, any questions? No more comments? No. You loving it? Leanne's still smelling it. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the mind. And I think this is why I didn't like it before, but I really like it now. It had an after smell. It had a kind of a pungent after smell, and I couldn't understand why. But I feel I understand what that was. So tangerine is the oil of cheer and creativity. Cheer and creativity. And, you know, for me, I think it was the creativity part. I wasn't allowing myself to just fully be creative. In the past 6 months, I think I've been able to just freely, you know, post, you know, just my thoughts and things on my website, and help people without feeling nervous and without holding myself back. So if you all want to know what's, you know, what you want to say, but you hold back because you think, I don't know if anybody will like that, or if that's going to help anybody in any of your self-limiting beliefs, this might be the oil for you to kind of let yourself go. So if the negative emotion that it helps relieve is just feeling overburdened by responsibilities, stifled creativity. Like at first, when I first started my website, I felt like, oh, you know, I don't know how to post things. I don't know how this and how that. And that was just stopping me from being creative. And in the end, Ben, my husband, said, just write, and I'll fix it for you. I'll help you, and we'll figure all that out. And I really appreciated that. And, you know, I did gain the skills that I needed to gain to really post things and upload, and all the technicality came later. But it was just me allowing myself to be free without my self-imposed limitations. And duty bound, feeling overworked, heavy-hearted, and joyless. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel guilty when I'm doing nothing, when I'm resting. I feel like I have to be doing something. I have to look like I'm busy. And then that's a subconscious thing. And, you know, no one's pointing a gun to my head and saying, work harder. But it's just that, you know, it's feeling inside, and, you know, you're pushing yourself too much. And tangerine kind of helps you kind of balance that and accept peacefulness, accept stillness. Okay, so the positive emotion that it helps you adopt is grateful, acceptance, content, and peaceful. And one of my issues, it was, you know, if I was content with where I am, then I might not want to progress. That was my self-limiting belief. And when I kind of discovered that I was thinking that, I had to rewrite that in my mind. I said, well, I can be happy with progression, but I'll still be progressing. You know, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop right here and let things go. So when I talk to myself, and talk myself out of it, changed. And of course, tangerine didn't have that smell anymore, that after smell that kind of wasn't pleasant for me. What do you have thoughts?
Wow, as you've been talking, Jade, I kind of resonated with all of these things you just talked about. because I've been feeling like I've lacked creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I've so appreciated my time with you, especially today, Jade, as you helped me get kind of back in my zone of creativity and my passion. And you know what, that this really resonated with me. So boy, I'm diffusing more tangerine. I've actually diffused it a lot the last week. And I can't say that it's taken away my overburden by responsibility. So I need to
and we think it. We think it was funny because some of the people I work with, because you're on the outside, sometimes you see more than people that are inside. So I see sometimes even though life has changed and became better, and people still act as if they're stressed, they're overburdened. So an example is my mum. All her kids have grown, married, they all have a wonderful life. She really doesn't have a lot of responsibilities. She's retired, she's got a good income, but she feels like she needs to be anxiously engaged in something all the time, and she won't unwind. And I see that in a lot of my friends. A friend of mine, he has diabetes, and he's really set up. He's really set up in his life. And really, if you're looking in from the outside, you're thinking, what are you worried about? Why are you stressed? And you're finding things to be stressful for. It's because we haven't really stopped, realigned, and kind of released the burdens that we think that we have, but really it's not real. So allowing yourself to just be happy, cheerful. So tangerine is a very powerful oil. There's a lot of research that kind of shows that people are it's measurable, that they show signs of more cheerfulness. So like I said, we have burdens and we get caught up in our stuff. And it's very easy to do so. And we can get caught up and not see what we need to see, and reach out and serve and help people that are outside ourselves. And you know what I'm talking about, people that are just wrapped up in their own problems and thinking, too much, too hard, and you think, not really, there is a way out, but tangerine can do that. We can talk to people till we're blue in the face, but tangerine can help them just relax and step back a bit. And you can douse them with tangerine or invite them to diffuse it for the next couple of months. I don't know, but it does soften people, and I've seen huge changes in friends that were prickly porcupines, and they've softened up a bit. So you go ahead and share it with others, or maybe it's you that feels very overburdened. Okay, so I have a few suggestions for people who feel like they just can't get out of their own way. Can't relax. And this is some things that I've learned along the way. So I'm going to share it with you. The first thing here is to smell tangerine and allow yourself to step back. I have friends that are pretty well to do already, but they still have that anxiety, and they don't know what to do with that anxiety. They think if I stop, then we'll starve. And it's not true. Just try it. Just stop and see that the world is not going to fall apart. Okay? So be still for a few minutes, allow that, and take that opportunity to refocus and write down all your responsibilities. And, in reality, you may find that those are not your responsibility after all. Sometimes we rob people of opportunities to grow when we think that it's our responsibility to make them happy or to keep them happy. Okay, we do that for our kids. We do that for our parents sometimes. We think, I'm not happy until so-and-so makes it to college, or so-and-so, or my mom until she's better, or whatever it is. And they feel so burdened by that. And you can actually be happy just in the present moment without that hook. Okay. So do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah? Okay. And then I like to ask myself lots of questions, so that I could dig down to the root. Beneath all of the emotions is, a belief and a thought pattern. So first of all, I have to identify the emotions. And, if the emotion is negative, then I consider it as a fear emotion. And if it's a positive emotion that I don't quite have yet, then it's a faith emotion. And it's easy because all it is, if you think, I'm I'm in competition. I feel like I'm always competing with somebody or something, or I'm in conflict. So just tell yourself, hey, this is actually a fear emotion. A fear means I'm lacking faith. And then you kind of talk yourself into thinking in a different way. So those emotions lead you to discovering thoughts and beliefs, okay? Because we act on emotion. So if we don't change those emotions at the root, we'll continue to act. And I tell friends that, we think we're logical creatures, but we're not. You all know that eating a salad is good for you. But when your body feels, upset and, not quite happy, and it feels like chocolate cake, what are you going to do? You're going to eat that cake, right? Even though your brain says, well, that's not good for you. So you're not going to make those good choices. You're going to make a choice based on your emotions. So we just need to have a handle on those emotions by really going down to the thought processes that cause those emotions and the beliefs. And it's really easy. As soon as you identify it, rewrite it. Choose the positive. Like I had a friend, and she says, well, I have kids, right? And I'm stressed. So I said, well, let's talk about stress. And then underneath that, her thought was, kids, stress. That's what kids equal to. And I thought, well, does it have to? And she's like, well, that's all I know. And I said, well, kids can be equal to pleasure, happy, joy, contentment, fulfillment, all of those other feelings too. And she's like, well, yeah, I guess so. So it doesn't have to, but you're not aware of your thinking until you really stop and consider it with a sense of self-awareness. And then we changed, and I changed in that way too. Years ago, I decided, hey, just because I have this, and I all of this different responsibility at church, at home, with kids, and I want to have this lifestyle, I don't have to be stressed. So when I talk to people and I introduce myself and I say, yep, I have 4 children, and people will, send their condolences. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You have a business? Hey, you have 4 kids. I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, I don't feel sorry for me. Actually, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. And without these kids and without this business, I don't think I'll be as happy. So it's those people, you can see that they've made that association, right? So in your mind, what do you think, what's coming up in your mind? What are you associating with stress or burdensome? Do you have any connections so far? Another common one is business equals stress. Does it have to be? Mm-mm.
Or money.
Yeah, or money equals stress. Or the lack of money equals stress. Right?
I was listening to you, and I think I need to get some. Tangerine.
Thanks.
I was just going through Dana's stash, and I didn't find any. I have citrus bliss. I know it's in her every oil kit, and I could steal it out of there. So
She's got it hidden from you, Greg. It's probably in her.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
I promise you, when you change that energy, you attract more positive things. I have so many people telling me, hey, I want to do what you do. I want to do what you do. And it's interesting because in the past when I was building my doTERRA business and I was stressed and I'm, looking back, I wouldn't want to be Jane, right? Because that person's kind of stressed out. Well, that doesn't look fun. Why would I do that? But now that I understand that I can choose to enjoy my life, I can have more fun and things come a lot easier. And we have awesome people that work with us and I think, hey, because I changed and I'm attracting a different kind of people. So in my journal, I do this. So I do the self-reflection. I ask myself questions like, what am I worried about? And then I write down what I'm worried about. And then I just do the arrow across. And I keep asking and digging and digging and digging until I find, hey, this is my true belief. Now I see why I felt that way. A fear of failing, or why am I fearful of failing? because that makes me look bad? Why am I scared of looking bad? And, you know, you just keep asking yourself questions. So I had a friend and she said, I did the arrow thingy that you taught me. And she said, I really found some really core beliefs that I was holding on to. And I was like, whoa, that was revealing. And then you do your affirmations and you change it. Any other questions, comments?
Were you going to say something, Greg?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, you know.
Anybody have any other comments?
No? Okay. So this example here, I say, affirmation, I give myself permission to be human and mess up. And then, you know, I'm not worried about failing anymore. And that helps. So any other comments, questions?
It's good.
Okay. Yeah, give yourself a chance to, like I said, step back and ask yourself some real good questions, and then you can go and continue on with your day, your week, your month with more joy, because this is why we're here on earth, I believe, to learn more joy, right? So Tangerine for cheerful and joyfulness. So it's in your elevation blend. You can diffuse it daily, or you can wear it in a necklace diffuser. So we forget that we can just have that all the time with us, and it kind of lifts your energy. It's a very strong, positive energy. All right, so here's a blend for you, and I made this blend up because I just felt like I muscle tested, and I felt like I needed a gratitude blend. Because when we're complaining about the world and our lives, it's because of a lack of gratitude. And I didn't want to be in that space. So 1 drop of bergamot, 1 drop of spikenard, 1 drop of tangerine, and 1 drop of Douglas fir. Some of these oils are generational because sometimes we are taught to associate certain things with a certain thought pattern. So like I said, business equals too much work, hard work, hard, you know, is the key word, right? It doesn't have to be, or kids equal this. So I wanted to disassociate and just really clarify what I want to think without having to perpetuate the cultural dogma of my culture, whatever culture that I'm thinking about. Okay, so mix that together and just inhale and talk to yourself and tell yourself, I am creating new patterns of peace and fulfillment. So why can't we have happiness and joy as we live each day? And even though the challenges come, we take those challenges as learning opportunities. You know, I think of it as this. If God was teaching me stuff and he's giving me a lesson, do I say, I can't wait till this lesson goes away, right? I just wait until this hurt, this pain, this whatever goes away, or I don't like this situation, just someone fix it. And that's lack of gratitude. So instead, I want to approach it as, wait a sec, okay, this isn't a challenge that is going to be a growing opportunity for me. What can I learn? And the faster I learn the lesson, the faster it goes away, right? So that should be a wiser approach than, you know, our default of whining, complaining. So any thoughts? Comments? Nope. All right. Okay, moving on to the spirit. So tangerine reminds us to choose joy and happiness. So, you know, when we change at the spiritual level, everything else changes. Changing at the spiritual level simply means that we can choose and envision our lives differently. When you're caught up, and I tell people you have a little compass inside of you. When you're unhappy, you're not on the right path. Okay, and find a way to have joy and happiness in the moment. As you know, of course, we all experience the downs, which helps us appreciate the good, but we don't have to be down all the time. We can still have a choice, and anyways, I think of a garden. Like as soon as you release all of these negative emotions, fine, okay, that's fine. We all have those days. But what are you going to replace that void with? And if you don't replace it with conscious, intentional thoughts and beliefs, then you'll get the default again. Okay, so we have to be constantly engaged in our progression. So I have a quote here, and I really like this. Brad Wilcox said this, and he said, "Heaven will not be heaven for those who haven't chosen to be heavenly." So this guy, he wrote this awesome Christian book, and I like that, because you can't, live life grumpy-headed and then think that, okay, when I get to heaven, everything will be happy and I'll be happy. You haven't practiced happy. You haven't chosen to be happy. You're not going to feel comfortable in amongst saints that are happy. You're not going to be in. So this is an opportunity in this lifetime for us to learn to be happy.
Work on ourselves.
Work on ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I think of that all the time. I say, well, I'm upset today, and let's fix it. And it's a skill, and you pass that skill on to your kids and things, and you can self-reflect and be self-aware. It just reminds us that we don't have to be burdensome or a martyr all the time, that we can have peace and joy. And if you have to redefine your happiness. I see a couple of friends last week, and we were talking about happiness, and this lady, she's never allowed herself to be happy. When my parents are happy with me, when they think I'm successful, when I can have a house, I'm happy, and all of these whens and ifs and buts. And she's never defined that happiness. And I said, well, how about this? How about if I am loving myself and others like God, and if I'm, connected to heaven, I'm happy. Okay, just the two things. That's all our responsibility is anyways, to our children, to our spouse, to our friends. Love others and love yourself and love God, and, just connect heavenly to heavenwards. And that's it. And everything else comes together and happens. But then your happiness is very achievable. It's not that complicated. So I really appreciate Tangerine teaching me these lessons. Just smelling it and working with it and studying it, see what it does physically, and I can see how it reflects on a spiritual, emotional level. It taught me some big lessons. So, and then I read this talk, and this guy, Brad Wilcox, heaven will not be heaven for those who haven't chosen to be heavenly. Yeah, that's easy, simple. Anyways, any questions or comments or insights? Because that's it. That's it for Tangerine. Yep, and here's our Tangerine handout.
Yay, Tangerine.
Yep. And we have exciting news. We're coming out with a ebook soon.
Yep, so we put all the single oils together in one single book that you can download. Is it not on there yet?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, we put it together, but we haven't uploaded it.
Awesome
Yeah.
resource.
So all of these handouts will be put together in a
All
whole
of Jade's
book. So
top
it's
10.
on my, it's
So
on my desk there.
each page just has, I'll get it for each page just has 10 oils, but on the website there's more. So there's the ebook you can download. Well, we'll have it soon. It'll put it up.
Sorry, I've been playing.
Yeah, we've been having too much fun here.
Yes, on my account, perhaps.
Alrighty.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, here we are in the month of April on my team. We are focusing on the 30-day cleanse. And as we do that, we're gonna unleash some emotions and some toxins in our body, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And boy, we ought to be using a little more Tangerine to help boost the emotions, and also to help create those brain chemicals in our gut. What are they? Serotonin.
Yeah,
to boost that serotonin level in our gut. So, pull out your tangerine, diffuse it, use it internally, add it to your salsa, add it to your yogurt, add it to whatever you're using.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep, great advice. All right, guys, we're going to end our call. Thank you for those people who have joined us online and for people who've joined us on our podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Okay,
Have a good night.
Have a good night.